Hey folks, this is Mossies here letting you know to check out ZeldaDungeon.net for all your Zelda needs. Tips, tricks, walkthroughs, reviews, and so much more. And don't forget to check out GenGame.net for news, previews, discussions, and more. Check out all our Dungeon Gaming Network sites for all your gaming needs. Now enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 67, part 1 for May 19th, 2013. My name's Tony and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcaster Jason.
I'm over here again.
Mark is unable to join us today because he's graduating college.
I would have skipped the ceremony and come do the podcast. Right
Me too. Screw that whole cap and gown business.
Yeah.
Come to the podcast. Support your friends.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing today. But we're lucky enough to have Brian join us once again. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very well.
I'm hot. And that's why if you hear any background noise, it's the fans.
Yeah.
It's fucking hot here.
Yeah, we got windows open, fans
There's
blaring.
a motorcycle that drove by.
They're going to catch everything from outside today. It's
Fine.
going to be craziness.
Matters not.
Also, we got 2 birthdays in the Forward Compatible family this week. Our resident angry video game reviewer, Angry Andy.
Who's here? Who's here?
Oh.
No.
And a close buddy of the show, Tyler. So happy birthday to one and all.
I want my fucking dollar.
Yeah, we told him we charge $1 to plug his birthday. $1.
True story. True story.
All right, so I think that takes care of all the
Crap?
the crap.
Yeah.
So how's everybody's week been?
Hot!
It's only been hot for a couple days.
I wear a suit to work. It's hot.
I work close to work too.
Is there AC in the building?
No.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, but it ain't on at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's fair enough.
So I've got a quick interesting story, which I actually threw up on my Facebook, completely unrelated, but it was kind of bizarre. Friday night at work, at about 2 a.m., there was a gathering out on Michigan Avenue, downtown Chicago, of about 200 people. And they all were standing in the middle of the street, staring at a building. I was like, sweet, is somebody going to jump? I went outside, and there's a spotlight and everything. I'm like, fucking A, where's the guy that's going to jump? And all of a sudden, music starts playing, and it's Kanye West's new music video broadcasted on the side of a building. Apparently, he did it in 66 different cities. It was absolutely stupid. They played his video, and then the crowd left, and that was it. No giveaways, nothing. Just came out to watch a fucking video on the side of a building downtown.
At 2 in the morning?
At 2 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah, that's not enough to get me up at 2 in the morning.
Shitty viral marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happens when I don't sleep?
Sounds interesting. Aside from that, I suppose we could hop into our weekly roundtable and catch everybody up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
Fuck Kanye West.
Exactly. Is that out yet, or did that get a release date?
What?
Fuck Kanye West?
Yeah.
Is it current gen or next gen?
Asshole. That's what generation it is. Generation asshole.
Yes.
I started playing Tomb Raider.
How are you liking it?
I am liking it a lot.
It's badass,
it's
right?
It's pretty awesome.
I fucking told everybody.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a good game.
I'm enjoying it a lot. I can't wait to go home and play it after this. And then beyond that, I played a little Robot Unicorn Attack 2, which is kind of a guilty pleasure.
All right.
That's pretty much it for me.
What is that?
It is an endless runner where you play as a unicorn, and
Okay.
it plays 80s music. And it kind of looks like, I don't know if you remember those old Lisa Frank folders and like school
Fuck
supplies.
your motorcycle!
That too. So it's kind of like this, pretty unicorn that's running around, but it kind of says like demoralizing things as you play.
Okay.
So it'll be like, oh, all your wishes will come true, and then it'll be like, oh, your wishes didn't come true, and like, oh, everybody thinks you're stupid, and When you die, the unicorn blows up and the head comes flying at the screen. And so it's kind of a funny, goofy parody, but at the same time, it's kind of 80s tacular, just the same.
Who makes it?
It's Adult Swim.
That's what when you were talking about it, that's why I was like, wait a minute.
And they have all these in-game purchases of 80s songs. The first game just had this Erasure song that played over and over again on loop. And it's kind of obnoxious, but kind of funny.
Did you ever play that Pegasus game that they released too?
That's probably what it is.
Where you land on the back of all the little Pegasuses and you drop them down.
No. It's you're running across like a fantasy landscape.
Okay, yeah.
And Robot Unicorn Attack adds more abilities, more 80s music. So right now I'm rocking out to the Neverending Story theme over and over and over again.
Really?
Yes. It's kind of maddening. But it's also like really, like just, I don't know, you get stuck playing it for hours.
Nice. They make some pretty good shit.
They do.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Tis, good sir, tis.
Same story, different week. I did Injustice iOS, still building up my shit in that, trying to unlock Batman Beyond. Still haven't gotten them. Fuck that shit. I actually turned on the 360 this week.
Nice.
And played a little bit of Injustice for about 10 minutes. And then I started yet another world in Minecraft. Yeah.
Excellent. Very cool. As for myself, I got a little bit further in Bioshock Infinite, but I only played it for about
Would you beat that fucking game already?
You're telling me I don't have any fucking time, dude. I'm working like 80 goddamn hours a week. It's bullshit.
If you would jerk off less.
Yeah, okay, come on now. Get real. You want me to hold my breath for infinity as well? I also restarted the Resistance 2 campaign, because I beat Resistance 1 a couple months back, and I'm replaying them all. I'm going to tear through all three of them, because that's one of my favorite trilogies from this generation, and I'm pretty sure when the next gen starts, I'm never going to go back and play them again. So I figured this would be a good time to do it. And I'm also restarted Fallout Vegas, New Vegas, excuse me.
See any floating dog heads yet?
No, it's all patched up. The game runs pretty well now.
I've been meaning to replay it. I had it on PS3.
Give me about 10 minutes with it.
He'll find something.
I'm only like 2 hours into it again, so...
You playing it on PS3?
No, Xbox.
Xbox? Oh, then
I
you're fine.
had it on PS3, and I got about 85 hours in, and then my PS3 died. And PS3 hard drives are encrypted, so if the system dies, you can't get that data off of it.
Yep.
So I was like, well, if I have to start over again, I'm going to get the good version. I got the 360 Complete Edition, or whatever, called the Game of the Year or whatever.
Did you even unwrap it?
Ultimate Edition.
It's is it Ultimate? Yeah, I've unwrapped it. I played like 10 minutes, and then I was like, oh, I got to play this first. And I got to play this first, so I haven't gone back to it. But I did enjoy it.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Dirty, sexy, news.
All right, then.
News!
Yeah, I'm going to take over for Mark.
Fuck that guy.
This week. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Because he likes Kanye West.
Yeah. So it's time for the dirty, sexy news. Number one, I guess.
News!
This, by the time you hear the show, will be old news, but the developers that made the new Metro game, Metro Last Light, had come out and announced pretty close to the release date that they were not going to include their multiplayer component that they had invented. And I don't so much want to talk about that, but more about how our developers finally starting to get it.
No.
Because they made a multiplayer mode for the game and decided to axe it.
No.
No.
You want examples? God of War Ascension, tacked on bullshit multiplayer. Gears of War Judgment, worst fucking multiplayer in Gears of War ever.
Where's Gears game ever?
Besides the point. Arkham Origins, supposed multiplayer.
No.
Bullshit. We don't need tacked on multiplayer when you have a good story.
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider don't even...
I haven't even bothered.
don't
I didn't
pretend
do
it
that.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No, and all the DLC for Tomb Raider is the multiplayer stuff. So there's no point.
They came out and said there was going to be no single player DLC.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think.
But, I mean...
developers are getting it.
It sounds like between that and Wolfenstein said they're not going to tack on one.
See, it's surprising that Wolfenstein doesn't, because Wolfenstein's had it in previous Wolfenstein games.
But I don't know if that's confirmed yet.
Oh,
so.
okay.
That's what
I mean, the first
heard.
one didn't have any multiplayer.
I heard.
But, yeah.
It's going to be
Well, it had a
canon.
mod
Well, but that doesn't necessarily count.
back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't done by the developer.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta say number 2.
I'm not gonna go that way though, because I'm gonna leave these for last. Relax, good sir.
You still got to say number
Or
2.
number 2,
Or number 4, whatever you're on.
Google is bringing achievements and multiplayer to their handheld games, I suppose.
Oh.
Actually, I think it's open so that you could use it on other platforms as well, which is interesting because they could become the standard for all platforms, or not all platforms, but multiple platforms.
Well, they'd have to link up to Google though.
Right, and it would use a Google account. So you use a Google account to log in, but it could work on a game that's on iOS, for example, or on Wii U. So if a developer, or Ouya, so if a developer, well, I guess Wii is Android, but if a developer just wants to include that in their game, just like kind of like, I don't know if you remember, what was it? There was Game Center, and then there was someone else, Open Faint.
Yeah.
And Open Faint was on multiple platforms. So technically, Google could kind of take over and become the standard bearer for that.
Okay.
Good.
So now here's going way back, and I guarantee you you're not going to remember it. But going back to when I first came onto the show and was giving out my gamer tag and all that shit, I threw in my Game Center, and you're like, oh, fuck that, nobody.
What?
My Game Center for iOS. I gave out my Game Center ID, and you bashed the shit out of me for that. So now your little fucking company is now trying
I didn't
to play
say
catch-up.
I was going to take any part of this. If you have listened to the show for the last almost year and a half, you know I do not play mobile games. I
Take that
don't care.
calendar and mark down the date, Andy, because when that shit releases, watch, he's going to give out his fucking ID.
Nope.
Yep.
Yep. Not going to happen.
When you buy your Ouya, that's not going to show up?
So that's different. That's a council.
No! No!
That's different. If I'm
No!
required by the
No!
Ouya manufacturers to thus make some sort of gamer tag, yes, I will go for their Jerker 1015.
No! I'm going to take it. I'm going to go fucking register that now.
Dude, I don't care. I ain't
Yeah.
scared. I ain't
Yeah.
scared. All right.
I'm feisty. That's 2 Red Bulls.
All right.
Big ones.
So, number 3. Sonic Lost World has been announced by Nintendo.
Nintendo inked a deal with Sega for 3 Sonic games.
Yeah, 3 exclusive Sonic
Yes.
games. Yeah.
One being some bullshit Mario and Sonic.
No, that doesn't count toward the 3, I don't think.
I thought it did.
No, I don't think it does.
What? Well, there's the new Winter Games.
new-
Does that
new-
count?
yeah,
for-
Because I think they said the Lost World is the new one. Or Lost.
It was in the same article, so I don't really know if it. The only one that the only 2 Sonic games that they've announced for the Wii U so far is Lost Worlds and that fucking bullshit Mario Party ripoff Olympic game crap.
That's not so much a Mario Party ripoff.
It's just it's stupid little mini games.
Your face is stupid.
I'd rather have Sonic in a good
Well,
Mario
no,
Party
it's-
than Olympic games.
No. I mean, it's not. I guess it's mini games, but it's not like Mario Party style mini games. It's all Olympic style.
That's what I was trying
Yeah.
to get at.
Here's my whole point, okay, is that the Olympics is dropping Greco-Roman wrestling from an official Olympic sport, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, screw the Olympics, apparently.
That's my whole point. Screw the fucking Olympics. Nobody cares.
yeah. except for
3.8 million viewers
Millions of
on
people that
NBC or whatever. It's because that's the only shit on at 4 o'clock in the morning, fucking figure skating.
Yeah.
That or, some weight gain loss pill.
Are you reading up on the other 2 games?
I'm checking right now to see.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on, and once you
What
find
do
it-
you think Lost Worlds is going to be? I think it's Sonic versus dinosaurs.
I have no idea at this point. It'd be cool if it was some sort of an open world game, almost like 3D Blast was. Even a Sonic Adventure-esque type game.
When I
would be
hear
cool.
Lost Worlds, what I think of is when Nintendo did Lost Levels. Even though those games previously existed, I see Nintendo trying to or Sega trying to do like a retro style game, like the redoing some levels and stuff
Well,
like
they
that.
just did that with Sonic Generations.
Well, there's that, but I'm saying a purely like 2D side scroller or 2.5 3D, whatever
Well,
you
they
want to
tried
call
that
it.
shit too with episode 4.1 and 4.2.
But here's the whole thing: they stopped working on those, even though,
The sales were way down.
yeah, that and then I know
Not to mention
I
they
know
weren't
it's
very
I know
good.
it's bullshit mobile, but if you buy Sonic on Android or iOS, they just released an update where you can actually play as Knuckles and Tails in the original Sonic. So I don't know. For me, when I hear Lost Worlds, I think of something like revisiting older Sonic.
Very well could be.
You were right, Jason. The Olympic game does count as one of the 3. I thought there were 2. No, whatever. Does Sonic matter that much anymore? I mean, look, Sonic is still a big character, but does Sonic get the numbers that he used to?
No, not anymore. I mean, he was created to compete with Mario. The guy screams 90s. Everything about him, from his super flair and his talk, like, oh, it's totally rad, dude, and just like it's everything screams 90s about the guy. They've tried to march him along into the new era, and it's failed miserably.
You know what I'd
Not
really...
to mention, most of Team Sonic, what comprised the good Team Sonic, is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
You know what I'd really like to see? An actual side-scrolling platformer team-up with Mario and Sonic. I'd play the fuck out of that.
That'd be cool, but
I mean, just think, let me
Mario
elaborate.
can kind of beat Tails because he's got the raccoon.
Well,
tail
there's
thing going on.
there's that, but I mean, also too, you could have, you know, if you're playing as Mario, you have certain paths that you're allowed to take. Obviously, as Sonic, you could take different paths and stuff. It technically could work.
Yeah.
It technically could work, and I think I'd play that.
the problem, well, that one might work because it's got Mario, but the platformer in general is kind of dying, which is sad because it's one of my favorite genres. But
Kids games.
they just don't come around too often. I mean, you hear of like what Rayman Origins? That's like the one, you know, and it's
That's
a
AAA,
great
yeah.
great game, but they just don't pump them out like they used to. I
Yeah.
mean, back in the 8 and 16-bit era, that was pretty much all you got was side-scrolling platformers. But
So that's all I knew how to make.
it's all they were capable of running. So, fucking A.
Blast graphics.
Yeah, number 4.
That's processing.
Whatever.
Jeez,
I was like
man.
fucking 3.
Number 4 and 5 kind of coincide with each other, but whatever.
Yeah, double up.
Number 4, 3DS eShop is getting a huge release of 2 Zelda titles and a bunch, I didn't count them, of Game Gear titles, including Columns, Crystal Warriors, Defenders of Oasis, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Clock Air Battle, Shining Force, Sonic Blast, Sonic Drift 2, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic 1 and 2, Tails Adventures, and Vampire Master of Darkness. And part 5, I guess, would be also the 2 Zeldas that are coming, Oracle of Time and Oracle of Seasons.
Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages.
Excuse me, that's what I meant.
I know.
And those are going to be on sale. You save $1 off each game if you are to purchase those in the next 3 weeks. I believe it is. If you wait any longer than that, the games will be $6 instead of $5.
Yeah. It's it's nice to see that, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit more here, but it's nice to see that one division of Nintendo is doing something right. And I'll elaborate on that more a little bit later. Not trying to foreshadow or jump ahead or anything. Where's fucking Surf Ninjas? Wasn't that what it was called?
There was a Surf Ninjas game.
Yeah, and then there was the movie where they played the game in the movie. Leslie Nielsen was in that shit. Was it Surf Ninjas?
Yeah, with Ernie Reyes Jr.,
Yeah.
who was also in Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Surf Ninjas
That's
game
why
in the
isn't
movie.
that? It was on Game Gear. Why isn't
Well,
that?
there's probably
fucking-
a big licensing issue because it's probably owned by like Touchstone or Universal or something like that, so they have to relicense it because the license ran out or something.
I'd
like
play
that.
the fuck out of some.
It's the
Surf
same. It's the
Ninjas.
same reason it took so long to get DuckTales.
Yeah.
Brought out.
I'd play the fuck out of some Surf Ninjas.
I never played it.
I did.
Yeah.
My cousin had a Game Gear. I had a Game Boy.
I had a Game Gear, but
I had
the
a Game
batteries
Gear.
last like 20 minutes, so I never played
You
it.
are pretty much constantly attached to the wall.
Yeah.
Number 6, Gran Turismo 6 has been officially confirmed, and the gentlemen over at Polyphony Digital have the only info really that they released is that they have an ambitious DLC plan laid out, because I guess Gran Turismo never had DLC in 1 through 4. Number 5 tried it. They were okay. I bought most of them. They're a little skimpy for the amount of money that they made you pay. But they were cool, and I guess they did really, really well to show Polyphony Digital that they have a definite future in this. So they're going to release Gran Turismo 6 with a ton of it. And it got confirmed for now as solely a PS3 game.
I'm gonna make a big prediction on Gran Turismo 6. It's gonna have really pretty cars.
I could have sworn I read something about them possibly working on it for 4 as well, PS4 compatibility.
Yeah,
Did say-
they were asked directly about it. They're like, "Will this come over to the PS4?" And they said, "We'll see."
Okay. That
So-
could be what I saw. I only read the headline of that article.
I for the longest time thought it made more sense to make it a PS3 only game, not only because of the install base, and but also because if you look back at Gran Turismo history, 2 got released per console. So you had 1 and 2 on the first, 2, 3, and 4 on the second, and 5 and 6 on the third. So it made sense to hold off till Gran Turismo 7 for
And
the
they
PS4.
have that Drive Club thing coming for PS4, so they might not want to compete
Well,
with themselves.
theoretically, they could do something kind of cool. What is it? The crossplay that like they do with the Vita, or maybe they give you a free upgrade for the PS4 version of it.
They could still do crossplay with the Vita. The Vita and the PS3 talk together perfectly.
But I'm saying maybe PS3 to PS4. If you buy Gran Turismo 6 on the PS3, when the PS4 comes out, maybe you get a code or something and you can download it.
But after that, up until more recently, I started thinking that it would have been smarter to make it a PS4 game because that is a game that will definitely move units.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not so much in North America, but definitely in Europe and Japan.
And I really wasn't. I mean, I wasn't really sold on Drive Club. At least what we've heard about it so far.
I'm going to get it because it's going to be the car game for the PS4.
Sure. I mean, and that's okay.
It doesn't look that
But that's like
impressive.
when your only option back in the day was Test Drive.
Yeah.
You know, you still bought it because it was the only car game.
Ridge Racer.
Exactly.
But then more like up until more recently, still now I start understanding why I'm reverting back to I get why they put it on the PS3. I still think it'd be smart to put it on both, but if you do, it's not going to sell any PS4s because everybody already has a PS3.
Yeah. Well, and the issue with Polyphony is that they're very slow to get their stuff out. So you don't want to put more on their plate if you can get them to commit to something.
They're a really small team too.
They are. No,
They
I'm not
under
yeah.
their desks.
Yeah, they're very dedicated, absolutely dedicated, but it does take them a long
They
time.
work in a garage.
As long as they fix
Yeah.
their goddamn menu system, we'll be okay. My God, is it atrocious.
Yeah.
Number 7? Yeah.
12!
It's 7. News! EA has... The rest of the news is all Nintendo news, by the way. EA has no games in development for the Wii U.
It's not good.
It's a goose egg.
It's
0.
You know, and the thing with EA,
It's actually one less than 1.
Yeah. Well, they had
It's still one more than minus
all
one.
they really did was Mass Effect 3 and what the Madden, like that was like a half 6
Then
months after.
45 players.
Yeah. You know, it's not entirely surprising. You know, and there's the rumor that the reason EA doesn't want to do it is the same reason EA didn't do online for the PS2, which was what they want, or for the Xbox, the original Xbox, was because they wanted more control over the online access than Nintendo would give, because they wanted to link Origin to the Wii U in
Yeah,
some
but
way.
to me that doesn't sound like a reason to just completely...
It's not enough of a reason to completely, but I think the install base plus the fact that they can't push is coming together, because if Nintendo had a bigger install base, EA wouldn't bother. They'd still just make the games. They just wouldn't do the online component like they did with the original Xbox. But it's not good.
Here's my thing, right? Okay, going back to current gen Wii, if you look at all the shovelware bullshit,
It was crap.
it was crap.
Everything they did for the Wii was crap.
And most of it, not all, but most of it, when you look at developers that you actually know, not 505 Games or whatever the fuck makes it, Imagine Master Chef fuck, okay, was EA bullshit. Okay, the EA fucking Playground, the fucking SimCity agents. I'm not even gonna go any further, but they shoveled out a lot of bullshit and made a lot of fucking money on Nintendo.
That was everybody, though. That wasn't just EA. If you're really honest with yourself, the Wii has like 10 worthwhile titles.
I'm not disagreeing.
There's over 1,000 games for that.
I'm
console.
looking at the
They're
overall
all junk.
I 100% agree. But the thing is, and we know this from working retail, okay, is it doesn't matter. Those fucking grandmas and those uneducated people that come in to buy games for the kids and shit, Wii Bowling and all that other crap that was just carbon copies of bullshit, okay, they bought that shit.
Yep.
That shit sold. Shovelware fucking sold. Doesn't matter, but yes, everybody made it. But EA made a fucking pretty good dime on the fucking Wii, and I get it. Let's come to a reality here. The Wii U is not what everybody expected, but I think it's a real big fucking slap in the face to go ahead and say we're not even gonna downport our games for you.
I mean, at the same time, they're a company and they're in this business to make money. They don't have a contractual obligation to port their video games over to Nintendo.
They
so
don't.
I mean, you at the same time, if they don't want to, it's It's a capitalist world. They don't have to.
If
There's
they
nobody
don't want
forcing them
to, that's fine.
That's what they're saying. There's nothing in development.
But no,
They didn't come out and...
it gets a little bit more deeper than that. Okay, they didn't just come out and say we don't have anything in development. They then proceeded to what the fuck the guy's name, Alex.
Oh, that's another point, and that's later.
All right, I'll leave it alone for now.
But see, here's the thing. Here, okay, let's wrap that. We'll tie that in, and we'll talk about this. Okay, because the next topic was EA's senior engineer Bob Summerwell came out and said that the Wii U is crap. Now, here's my counterpoint to that, because I know what you were getting at. EA is a major company with, I'm just guessing, 50,000 employees.
Sure.
Okay? They all have different opinions. Either if you line those 50,000 people up, one's going to like Coke, one's going to like Pepsi, one's going to like Mountain Dew, one's going to hate movies, one's going to like popcorn. It's 50,000 unique individuals under one umbrella, and they call themselves EA, okay? EA has come out and said that they do not have anything in development for the Wii U and left it at that. This is one individual who works for EA who voiced his opinion.
Yes.
He does not speak on behalf of EA.
I understand. But just like going back a couple weeks ago when that guy came out from Microsoft,
Fired!
and got fired.
Deal with it!
But was bashing it, and how did the media spin that? It became Microsoft says. Okay,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's
he's
always the
chief
case
engineer,
of
yeah.
it's always the case of it doesn't matter who you work for. Okay, you can't really express your opinions like that publicly. Okay, I can't come out and say that the company that I work for, that the building that I work at is shit, and not that it is, but I can't come out and do that. There's certain guidelines and rules that you cannot discuss. There's things that you cannot do.
Well, it all depends, because, I mean, when you take social media is going to become the death of us all. It's like you're not allowed to say or do anything without a microscope up your ass anymore. But on stuff like Twitter, which is where the Deal With It guy and the Wii U is crap guy both said these comments, you got to take into account these aren't the official EA or Microsoft Twitter feeds. These are personal opinions of personal people that just happen to work for those companies.
And we get that. But looking at the bigger picture, when you bring in media, one speaks for the many. That's how it always ends up playing out. That's how it
And
always
he's
ends up
not a
playing
random
out.
programmer. He's chief engineer.
And then,
right?
what usually happens is that big company goes, whoa, we didn't say that. You get the fuck out, and fires the guy.
I don't think this guy's going to get fired over these comments.
I think the guy should be fucking stoned for it, just for shits and giggles.
Well, he shouldn't have said it. And the thing that drives me nuts, the Wii U is definitely the weakest of the three consoles. The EA makes games for a lot weaker hardware than the Wii U.
We,
So
as what we do here, are allowed to have very jaded, very one-sided opinions. Okay, but when you work for a bigger company, and that company does, in some regards, business with another company, you can't really do that. That's my perspective.
I don't know. I don't think you have to handcuff people like that. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether or not he could. I'm not.
Well, he's
I'm not
entitled to his opinion, but sometimes you don't go on Twitter and say things because, you do have free speech, but you don't have freedom from consequence for your speech. Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. I disagree with that. I the only thing I would have changed is I think he worded it very poorly. He could have used softer language to get his points across.
that's true.
I didn't direct.
It wouldn't be a big deal if he had.
Yeah, if he would have just been like, you know what, I really don't think the Wii U's as big of a deal, and we're looking more forward to concentrating on the other hardware who's yet to be released.
In that regards, that would have been fine.
It's the same message, and he's still voicing his opinion from EA. It's still going to look bad on the EA umbrella. All the things that you're saying he shouldn't be doing.
But it's also about public perception. Okay, public perception plays a big factor, and like I said, coming from working corporate, again, one speaks for many. If I worked at GameStop and somebody came in and I was in a bad mood and maybe bashed the game that they came in to get, well, guess what? That's going to reflect their opinion on the company as an overall. It happens. That's the way it works. That's the way it goes. And EA is in enough shit as it is. Going back just a month ago, that big fucking thing where they came out and they were apologizing for Sims and the biggest tree catches the most wind, blah, 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 blah.
That was when they got voted for the golden poo to your
So,
Yeah.
you know, coming off of all this quote-unquote negative press they have, you think somebody like their chief senior fuckface would be a little bit more choicey with his words.
Well, and the thing is, it's not like it's a secret that people read people's Twitter and Facebook accounts.
Yeah.
You know, so just, you know, maybe sometimes don't post stuff public. You can do private posts on Facebook. Twitter, not so much, but Facebook, you can do a private post, friends-only post. Your friends, if you trust them, are not going to get you
Anybody
in a level of trouble.
seen, I mean, we're all about the same age. Remember Bambi?
Yeah.
Remember what Thumper said?
No.
No? Remember what Thumper said?
No.
Something about thumping along in the forest and doing some thumpy-like things.
No. He said, Mama said, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all.
That's true.
I don't know. It's such a...
I know, but I remember.
You're handcuffing the First Amendment at that point.
Fuck that
Well,
guy.
no, it's
Here's
not
my
about the-
First Amendment right. Fuck you, Bob Ross.
The painter guy?
Him too. I hated his hair, except when they spoofed him in fucking Boondocks.
Oh.
All right.
And Alex Ross too.
I got 3 left. Oh, I do have one left non-Nintendo thing. Let's get rid of that one.
Yeah. Way to fuck it up.
News! The next Xbox will be smaller with a flattened controller. Apparently what they mean by it's going to be smaller and denser, so I guess it's going to weigh more, but it's going to be more compact than the S model, the redesigned.
So it'll overheat quicker. Sweet.
Well, or they'll have better dissipation of heat and sound, so it doesn't make so much noise.
Hopefully.
Because if they put better heat sinks on it and better internal airflow, that could make it heavier just from the extra components that would do that.
No.
But it could also be muffling the sound, because the original Xbox, quite loud.
I'm going to turn it on.
And then the controller apparently is getting a redesign, which we all assumed was coming because they don't want any of their old generation stuff to work with the new hardware. That would prohibit them from selling you more controllers. As long as they don't mess...
Steel
I
Battalion.
want to play that.
Steel Battalion?
As long as it doesn't mess with it too much, I mean, leave the 360 controller alone. If you want to slightly redesign it, feel free to fix your fucking piece of shit D-pad. But aside from that, the 360 controller is really good.
It's that, and when I think flat, I don't necessarily think about like the thickness of the
Maybe
controller.
they mean-
Maybe the top of it, the surface a little bit, almost kind of like how the PlayStation controller is, and maybe flattening out those buttons.
That would,
talked
yeah, I
about.
was about to say, yeah, if they could make those buttons a little less convex, that'd be
Yeah.
really nice.
And here's an interesting, because the conference is in 2 days where they're going to officially unveil this thing.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
What do you, real quick,
Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
does anyone else
Wednesday.
out there...
Tuesday, the 21st or 22nd?
21st
is Tuesday.
Today's the 19th, dude. It's
fuck.
Tuesday.
Shut up. I
Shut
haven't
your
slept
mouth.
yet.
Does anyone else out there think that Microsoft should just call this the PlayStation 5?
It'd be hilarious.
That would be
Well, do you want the Sony PlayStation 4 or do you want the Microsoft PlayStation 5?
Great.
How bad?
Sounds better than fucking Infinity. When
How-
are they gonna have fucking Buzz Lightyear come out and go Infinity and Beyond? Second Disney reference of the fucking day. What's up?
So, I think that would be hysterical, but it's looking like all signs are pointing to them calling it Infinite
Yeah,
or Infinity.
Infinity.
Infinity, excuse me.
Yeah.
If they're looking at a longer shelf life, that would be a good name. But if they're not looking at least a 10-year shelf life, that's probably a bit of an overstatement.
Unless it sets on fire.
Well,
If it's like Infinite or Infinity, it seems to me like the marketing would write itself.
yeah. No, I mean,
Come check out the Xbox that is infinitely better than the competition.
Well, or entertainment that goes on forever.
Yeah, for
or something
Infinity,
like
yeah,
that.
just the marketing.
I should be on Madden.
It sounds better than fucking Fusion or Fuse or whatever the fuck they were. That sounds like that soda machine.
No, they were thinking of codename was Durango.
Durango.
No, Durango, but
that would bring them into problems with Dodge.
there was Durango, which was the code name. Then there was next Xbox, then just Xbox 720. Then there's the Fusion, and then there's Infinity. So there's like fucking 13 names.
See, here's the thing, like, because whatever name that they elect to give to this thing is probably going to be different from what we all end up calling it. Like
Does
how the
anyone
Wii
really
was
supposed to be fucking Revolution? That would have been awesome.
No, I'm not talking code names. I'm talking like how we don't call the PlayStation 3 the PlayStation 3. We just call it PS3. Or how I don't know
just PlayStation
which
at this point.
Yeah,
XBI?
which ones do you got? What do you refer to it? Do you call it the Xbox or do you call it the 360?
360.
See, nobody really goes the Microsoft Xbox 360. It's just, dude, it's a 360.
Wow.
So if they're calling this like the Microsoft Xbox Infinity, it might we might just roll with hey Xbox.
Yeah.
Or like I said, XBI.
No, it's not an Apple product.
Not
Stop trying to
like
stick
that.
eye on everything.
No, Xbox Infinity.
Xbox Infinity,
Ooh, it's
XBI.
the iBox.
Yeah, fuck face.
It's the iBox.
Well, that would be the IXB.
Yeah. Running on OS X. Whoa.
Yeah. News. Okay, and this is the final story of the week.
Shitty segues.
Whatever. I'm new at this. This is Mark's thing. This one.
You're gonna need that again.
Oh yeah, I am. Is of course the big story from the Big N this week. In regards to
You don't say that word.
Huh?
What?
I think you
Regards?
took offense to the big N.
Yeah.
It's okay, Jason.
You upsetting Sam because his name's Samuel L. Jackson.
Nintendo
Oh.
has struck a deal with YouTube, which pretty much indicates that they can go monetize any video with their intellectual properties being shown on YouTube, which greatly affects pretty much every Let's Player in the world who uses anything that's made from Nintendo. So what do we think about this, gentlemen?
Well,
It's a very bad PR move for one. Yeah.
I've got a couple of pieces of information for that. Supposedly, it dates back to February, and it's just coming out now. Is piece number one.
Well, it takes a while to get stuff like that rolling. So yeah.
Part two is supposedly it's videos over 10 minutes in time.
Which is pretty much every Let's Play video ever made.
Okay, but if they set a standard and they go, if you make a video that's shorter than 10 minutes, we'll let you go. You just break up your content into episodes.
Why do you have to go through all that hassle, though? Why
it's
is Nintendo doing
theirs.
this?
Another way to make money.
I don't think it's going to make them that much money, because I think it's just going to cause people to stop doing Let's Plays on Nintendo.
Well, and I think that's the actual result of it is that they'll get a little bit for a while because they'll pull in revenue from things that already exist, but they won't get any new stuff, and at some point people will stop watching it.
But don't they realize that it's kind of free advertising?
Well, when you read...
You know how many games I've
No,
seen
you're right.
Let's
I agree
Plays
with
of
you.
that later I went and picked up the game
I agree
then?
with
Well,
you.
here's
Completely, absolutely.
here's where they fuck up the wording quite a bit. Is they say that they're losing revenue from people putting their content and showing the stories online. Now, me personally, I know I'm not a big YouTuber. Okay, I don't sit there and watch a lot of Let's Plays, but I can't ever recall watching a single YouTube video to watch the story. You watch, and you usually get somebody's commentary track to
You're
what's
listening
going on.
to the individual
Exactly.
commentary.
I've never actually, other than in person watching Angry Andy or some of my other friends play through a game, I don't turn to YouTube to watch BioShock Infinite because I'm not going to buy it to see the fucking story.
Well, you said that, but someone did put up a 3.5-hour BioShock Infinite movie.
I'm sure. And it's, it's fucking dumb. Any way you cut it, it's fucking dumb. They shouldn't do it. Leave the fucking people alone. You should be happy that you got people out there wanting to play your shit and broadcast it.
It makes you more popular. It's just weird. They're going the other direction from Sony and supposedly from Microsoft. Sony's introducing a share button onto their controller. They're encouraging you.
But are they going to let you monetize that share button?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. That's up in the air. Sony might monetize that
But
themselves.
regardless, they're encouraging it. They're putting a whole button on their controller.
Well,
Be
but they're
here,
not-
issue Let's Plays.
But they're not. But Nintendo's not saying don't do Let's Plays. They're just saying you're not going to make any money off of it.
No, Nintendo's going back in time and saying stuff that you already made, you can't make money off of anymore.
Right.
Whereas with Sony, this technology isn't out yet. If they told you from day one, hey, we're providing you with this great service, but the only way we can afford the Ustream license is to monetize, fine. They're telling you from day one. They're not going back to shit that I created 5 years ago on a Let's Play video and taking away my ad revenue. It's ass backwards.
Again, I
Yeah, I
completely
agree.
agree,
Yeah,
and
they're
I
doing it all
can't
wrong.
speak for them, but we have friends at Zelda Dungeon, and they do a lot of videos and live streams and everything like that. I mean, hell, they do. They did their marathon last year for charity and shit, and I mean, how is Nintendo going to step in and kind of take that out of their hands? On the flip side, the smart way, in my opinion, to do it is let the Let's Players still make their money, but require like a Nintendo commercial at the beginning.
That would have been an easy
Yes.
settlement trade-off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they
That's
didn't.
the smart thing.
They elected not to go that way. I don't see.
Well,
It's-
what happened was they didn't talk to their PR team. They just talked to their lawyers, or one of their lawyers said something, and they just, well, lawyer says this, let's do it. And
Yeah.
that's the problem with listening to lawyers.
It
People.
makes no sense though. I don't understand why they would do this to their community. It's like it's such ass backward thinking.
Especially
it's Nintendo
when-
kicking and screaming and fighting the future like they have
Well,
for
and
the
it's
last
funny
2 decades.
because they've increased their online presence recently, especially on YouTube, where they're putting up tons of videos. They're doing all their Nintendo Directs like every month. They're doing a lot of little ads on the side, or they take just snippets of the Nintendo Direct and put that up. So I think they're trying to increase their online presence, but I think that they're going about getting themselves legitimized, quote unquote.
Here's
improperly.
the last bit that I'm going to say about it. Okay, and for me, this is the be all end all of it. Okay, is Nintendo has one of the most rabid fan bases ever. Okay, I mean they've got a legacy of over 25 years.
I've never noticed.
Of gamers. Okay, why would
You don't say.
And I mean, I understand with the Wii U or the Wii, they kind of fucked over the core and everything like that. But like, if you've got people out there, like you said, wanting to promote your shit and buy your stuff and play your games and get out there and talk good about your games, why would you want to fucking take that away? That'd be like if somebody was promoting forward compatible for us, and I'm like, no, fucking stop.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cut
no,
that
you're
shit
right.
out.
You're absolutely right. No, Nintendo's.
Yeah, I'll take a porn site, promote whatever.
Yeah, whoever wants
as long
it.
as it's
Yeah.
not kiddie.
Yeah, no, it's it's like they're doing something probably because of a legal thing where they think they need to protect a trademark or they need to take ownership and they feel they're not getting proper attribution. It's possible, but at the end of the day, it's still the wrong way to do it. It's still the wrong way to do it.
A good point that I heard is, and I apologize for using the lame cliche reference of wrestling. People like to put up WWE content on YouTube. To a certain extent, WWE will allow it. If you put up a full fucking pay-per-view or a full match, they have it pulled. If somebody put up your full fucking
that's
story,
understandable.
If somebody put up your full story, have it pulled. If somebody's doing a commentary praising your shit and doing like a playthrough to advertise, how is that any different than giving a fucking demo copy to IGN?
IGN first of all has to pay for that stuff, but the pay for the rights, yeah, they do. All the major publications have to pay for the rights to put that shit up there. But to me, I think Nintendo's looking at this like their games are movies or songs where no matter who's listening to it and when or watching it, from start to finish, every person is supposed to get the exact same experience. Okay? There's no rerouting of anything in a movie. You're just watching it from beginning to end, and everybody walks away under generally the same idea of what just occurred. Okay? With a video game, every single playthrough is unique of the exact same game. Especially nowadays, as games are getting bigger and more exploratory, and you could do stuff out of order and do it differently. It's not exactly as linear as it used to be. Everybody's unique. Everybody's experience is unique, and if somebody's recording their unique experience with your product and talking over it, I don't think that's the same as what they're equating it to, which is basically putting the stuff up on BitTorrent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
For everybody to
not.
enjoy
Yeah,
for free. And it's like Jason said, nobody's watching this to ruin the story so they don't have to go out and spend the $50 game. They're going at it because they've gotten to know the personality on YouTube, be it, this guy or that, and they want to hear what they have to say about that particular game voiced over the background stuff. Most of these people, I've watched Let's Plays in the past, it has nothing to do with the game.
No.
It's all about the person bullshitting that you've gotten
Wait
to
till
know.
you see ours coming up.
Well, yeah, and the thing is,
Apparently they're not going to be with any Nintendo games.
well, Nintendo in particular,
I'm
the
doing
games
goal
are-
fucking 13.
Why?
It's a running gag with Moss.
Ah, okay.
I keep telling him
Nintendo
to
games
play
in
it.
particular are about the gameplay experience. I mean, if you are watching Let's Play video, it's because you want to see what the game is like. You
Yeah.
are going to buy that game if you like how it
Yeah.
looks. Or you already own the game and want to see some more about it, or see that person give their commentary on it.
Or
yeah, they're not losing
like,
sales through Let's Plays.
like Zelda Dungeon when they do their marathons and shit or speed runs and whatnot. It's shit like that. Like yes, I've played fucking A Link to the Past fucking 30 times, but I'll still watch them play it to see how quickly they can do it.
Yeah.
Am I watching it for the story? No, I already know the fucking story. Okay, what story does Mario Galaxy have?
Well, there's a Galaxy with a Bowser and a Princess.
If there's some stars in there.
There's stars.
You're
And
not
you are Mr.
playing
Gay.
it for a fucking story.
No, you're not. Not Mario Galaxy. That's
You know,
for sure.
if somebody put up the entire fucking story for
Infinite.
Skyward Sword, okay, for one, who's gonna sit through fucking 50 hours of fucking video?
And that's the other thing. If you look at trending, on YouTube videos, the first and second and third video have more views if you have an entire game mapped out than the last videos. People, I don't think it's giving up. It's just people get the idea, and they're either going to play your game or not play your game. They're not sitting there watching it to fucking get the story for free. It's just it's not how it works.
I agree.
It's just a delusional
Particularly with Nintendo
mistake.
games, yeah. I mean, I could see like someone doing that with BioShock or
Call of Duty, you know, a fucking 4-hour campaign, sure.
Yeah.
You know, something very linear, but not something that has such a customized experience or open world or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch a Mario video to see if I missed anything or to see a secret.
or like,
But I've already got the game.
How to get, 100% or stars or anything.
Right,
It's
right.
not for the fucking story.
Right.
Okay? It's no different than me going on fucking GameFAQs and reading a goddamn walkthrough.
Right.
It's not. It's just a video form. Get with the fucking times.
I don't know. A lot of people in Nintendo's defense have come out and said, why don't these people just get real jobs and stuff? It's like, dude, that is their job.
That is what they do, absolutely.
They found a niche market somewhere in the corner of the internet where they can sit in their bedroom and make money from home. There's nothing wrong with that. That's capitalism. That's finding something nobody's done before you and making a business
I
out of it.
applaud those people.
I wish I had the viewer base where that's all I had to do was sit on my ass and play video games all day. That would be
Although
excellent.
I don't think
You and
most
me
of
both,
the-
motherfucker.
But I didn't think of it 7 years ago when the Let's Plays first started getting really into it
And I don't-
and built up a fan base. So
I don't think they make that much money either. I mean, they might make enough to cover the cost of like.
some of the
Do they-
big
do
ones
they make that much?
Yeah, big
We'll-
Let's Players make big money.
We'll discuss that.
Big Let's
later.
Players make big money.
More than like 50 grand a year?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to be big. I'm not
You have to
saying
be
every,
really huge,
I'm
yeah.
not saying every little Let's Player makes fucking money, but
And since I brought them up, and we kind of in our beginning forgot to give shout outs, okay, I want to throw one out, two, okay. Our buddies over at Missing Worlds Media broke 2,000 likes on Facebook, and they're starting to reveal some screenshots for their game finally. That's fucking awesome. It looks gorgeous, looks really good. The second one is Zelda Dungeon finally broke 100,000 likes on Facebook.
Congratulations to them as
guys.
well.
Yeah.
we're getting mighty close to 2,000 ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
We done with the news?
David Letterman!
No. Okay. Before
It's Mark's thing. I don't
we
know.
jump into the emails,
Jimbo!
we're not there yet. Okay. This has been brewing for a couple of weeks here. Okay. I got into a pretty heated debate with one of our guests.
He's been on
Adam.
the show before.
Yes. About an upcoming game called The Evil Within. Adam is a huge fan of survival horror games. I was until a point. So I'm going to take a couple minutes just to rant on this a little bit.
By all
First
means.
off, okay, you release a game trailer that shows no actual fucking gameplay footage. I'm so sick of companies doing this. It's fucking stupid. Show me the game. If you want to tack on a cool song, all right. I want to see the game. I don't want to see a little fucking 3-minute, indie movie about what's going on.
So the game's not about wrapping barbed wire.
No.
I'm
no.
out.
It's not about fucking
out.
wrapping barbed wire. It's not about some fucking Saw bullshit knockoff. And that's the other fucking thing. Okay.
Good game.
Shut up. That's not my point. It's my time. Okay? My bigger issue is with survival horror in general. Okay? It's gone the same route that horror movies as of general have. And it's all about the visual gore. Okay? Nobody knows how to build a good fucking suspenseful fucking game anymore. You know what the last good suspenseful game that I heard about was? It's fucking Tomb Raider. I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, there's some
you
good
want to talk
suspense
about
in
a game that knows how to build suspense, okay, and put you in the moment, Tomb Raider. Okay? Not fucking Resident Evil 6, not fucking Silent Hill 40, okay? They don't make good survival horror games anymore. Okay, they were about suspense and the individual interactions. This game looks like another fucking flashy bullshit survival horror with fucking monsters that don't make any sense, with fucking 30 arms and tentacle porn.
You don't have to look any further than the Dead Space trilogy. That within itself started off as a decent horror genre movie and slowly but surely turned into a Call of Duty
As much as
knockoff.
you're enjoying BioShock Infinite. It's not the same game that BioShock 1 was.
Well, it kind of is.
It is, but
Yes
it's
and no.
The only thing that's
but-
changed is the environment.
Yeah,
The
but,
environment's
but,
very
but the
different reality.
but I played BioShock 1, and what got me was the actual environment. When you'd be walking into a room and you're underwater and there's just water trickling in, that claustrophobic enclosed space.
Yes.
I understand.
No, it's actually very, very similar though. The whole appeal of BioShock Infinite is again the environment. It's just a different environment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think it has
very
the same
BioShocky.
suspense.
It's pretty close, actually.
For me, from what I haven't played it.
I'm just
so
saying, I'm letting you know it is decent.
But I don't think BioShock is a good comparison just because it's the same
Sure.
team and the same guy, whereas Resident Evil's, they've changed teams, haven't they?
I don't even know who the fuck works on Resident Evil anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's part of the problem.
Like, you know, what?
Sweatshops.
Sweatshops. Probably. But my whole point is that
They're still Capcom, aren't they?
Huh?
They're
It's
still
still, but it's
Capcom.
not the original
No
team.
Resident Evil from a Capcom.
What?
It's my Japanese impersonation.
Sweet.
It's not as good as my Russian.
No, do it.
What?
Russian. In Russia, we play survival horror. Do it.
In my country, horror survives you.
Yeah, that's what I should have did. Damn it.
Nice. My whole point is they need to get back what really was survival horror. As cheesy as the original Resident Evil was with the story, those individual moments, the buildup of suspense, Eternal Darkness we brought up last week. Okay, they need to get back to the basics. It's not about how creepy and fucking weird you can make your monsters look. Okay, it's about the individual interactions.
Yeah, Alone in the Dark from the Dreamcast is one of the scariest games I've ever
Yes,
played. It's great.
And one of Mark's favorites
Horror around
is
every
Alan
corner.
Wake.
Yeah, horror around every corner.
One of the creepiest fucking games that I played in the last year was Slender. Okay, you're running through the woods collecting notes, and Slender Man is chasing you. And when he catches you, the screen just goes all staticky. It's really fucking freaky.
I figured you'd lose weight because of Slender Man.
No.
Get it? See what I did there?
So,
pretty funny.
I don't really have an ending topic other than I'm offering the challenge to Adam to come on and give me a rebuttal.
Do it,
Throwing out
Adam.
there. The gauntlet has been thrown.
Make him eat the soap.
Yeah, come on. Come on, fucker. What are you waiting for? Right, Andy? Yeah, see? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that I'm done with that, see what happens when I'm all fucking no sleep and all Red Bull?
It's all right.
So now you know what it's time for.
All right. Oh God. Is it time for?
He didn't leave me a big enough pause to cut the song in. So we
Well, you
gotta
could do it.
again.
You could do it right now.
Right when?
Meow.
Okay. Do it again. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna kick this off with Ryan Bond.
What's up, Ryan?
He asked, well, I'm going to read his entire statement because it was very well articulated. Said, with the lack of enthusiasm for the Wii U and is the latest console... Jesus, I fucked
It's
that
so
up.
well
Let me
articulated. I just
start.
can't read.
I can't, man. I'm tired. Okay. I can edit now.
Yeah.
All right? So, this one comes from Ryan Bond.
Hi, Ryan.
With the lack of enthusiasm for the Wii U, is this the last console we will see from them?
Absolutely not. Nintendo, they're not losing money. They're just not making a ton off the Wii U. The 3DS by itself is carrying Nintendo right now through a darker time. But it really doesn't matter. Nintendo has something like $5 billion, I'm guessing here, like $5 billion in reserves. So even if the Wii U breaks even or loses a couple $1 million throughout its life cycle, it's not enough to make Nintendo just completely get out of the console game. I wish it was the case. It'd be one step closer to my ultimate goal of the unified console, but it's not going to happen. Nintendo, even if they lose money, there's too much pride in that company to just admit failure and go the way of Sega. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that it would take is Miyamoto wanting to switch, because Miyamoto is still their main guy. He's the heart of their gaming in a lot of ways, and Miyamoto is big on controllers and designing experiences around controllers and creating controllers that can give a new experience. And so part of his creative process, I think, is working with new, unique hardware. So until Nintendo can guarantee something like that, and I guess they could make their own controllers for another console, but it seems unlikely. So without having that level of hardware control, I don't think Nintendo's going to want to do that. Now, 10 years from now, or a console cycle or two from now, it's possible that they'll do it just to stay in business. But right now, they're still okay. They're not doing well, but they're not failing yet.
They're making a lot of money.
The 3DS is making money. Yeah,
and that's my whole point. Is they've got it so right with the 3DS. You have an inferior system to the Vita.
Yeah,
in every way, shape, or form.
Well,
yeah.
Realistically,
I think it's better battery life, but that's about it. Oh, the 3DS XL does, I think.
Anyway,
it's only like 3.5, 4 hours, isn't it? The Vita's about 6 or 7.
I don't know. It's been so long.
Their online interactions, and we spoke about this.
Yeah.
Their online, their marketplace. They do everything right with this system. They do.
They do.
Why don't they take that business model and apply it to console, or get out of the console market and stick solely to handheld?
I think they did. All the stuff that you're like you said, it's inferior technology. So is the Wii U comparatively to what's coming up. They rely basically on first-party games with the 3DS to sell units, and that's what they're doing with the Wii U.
I guess for me, there's just not enough transition there.
It's
when you have things. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's weird and gimmicky. The 3DS is just like the fucking Wii U is. It's got a terrible online infrastructure, just like the Wii U does. I think they're mirror images of one another. The problem is Vita doesn't have enough compelling games to sell enough units. If it had some more stuff, I think it'd be killing the 3DS. It's better. It's twice as good in every way, shape, and form.
Unfortunately, I with the install base that Nintendo has on the handheld, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Even if they came out with a AAA title every month for the next 2 years, personally. But my whole point is I don't necessarily disagree with you, but there's something missing from the transition, though.
There's no games on the Wii U.
That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have
and
things
it's
like
way too expensive.
You have things like Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton and Pokemon that don't port over properly or aren't even ported over at all. Why?
Well, it can work on the Wii U because of the gamepad. You could just play it around the game. I mean, that's what I do with my Wii U. I usually am playing on the gamepad at this point. It's usually a virtual console game or Mighty Switch Force. But yeah, that's what the Wii U has become. The Wii U has become the portable console with better graphics than any other portable console, but you can't leave your house with it. You have to be in like 20 feet of your console.
Here's what really bugs the living shit out of me. Is one of the biggest sellers on Nintendo's handheld is Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a good transition to consoles? No. But now you have a console.
You're forgetting Pokemon Snap.
No.
I'm
no.
being facetious.
You have.
Sorry.
Hear me out, okay? I know, Tony, you don't really play, but when you have the gaming tablet in your hands and you can have the battle taking place on screen, you have the console for the perfect transition to bring over that.
See, Nintendo's always made a point of trying not to mix it because they do build games around hardware instead of just putting a piece of hardware out there that's very universal and letting games come to it. That's why games differ so much from their handhelds to their home consoles. That's why you're not going to see big Pokemons. The system is reserved for different things than the handhelds are reserved for.
And when I said that there was that missing component, that's what it is. If they did something along the lines, and it just popped into my head, so excuse me if it's not a completely fleshed out thought, but if they did something like a cross-compatibility play, like what the Vita and the PlayStation does now, that would be fucking amazing.
It would be cool. I think the real takeaway, at least for me, is that the reason that the 3DS is doing so well is the things that it has, not the things that it doesn't have. Because the Vita does trump it. But it's what the Vita doesn't have. The Vita doesn't have Pokemon. The Vita doesn't have Layton or etc. So I think Nintendo knows that, and they don't want to throw just anything. Yeah, I think I can safely say that Nintendo doesn't just throw a bunch of shit out there and see what sticks. They tend to be a little more deliberate with the games that they put out. They occasionally do chunky stuff like Mario Party.
You said doo-doo.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But Nintendo doesn't like to, like, even the risks that they take are not like big risks.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to stick with what they know. So I don't see them bridging that gap. They should they? Possibly.
I think
doing
now is the time for them to do that, with them being obviously inferior to what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And with the
Nintendo's been behind for decades, dude. That's
matter. Not the dispute here. That's not what the question's focused on. Okay, the question's focused on is will they survive? And
I'm just
my whole
you
point.
just brought it up.
My whole point is now they have the opportunity with the current design of the Wii U to make this seamless transition, to bring over some of those AAA titles from the handheld, and maybe grab a little bit more of an audience. That's it.
The Wii U, I think it was kind of, in some respects, they just made a lot of little dumb errors that all culminate together into people not buying this. And I think that's the only thing holding it back.
Well, it's expensive for what you're getting.
It's way too expensive for the tech you're getting. I think people overestimated the appeal of the tablet, because if people actually wanted that, they would just go get an iPod.
Well, no,
or an iPad. Excuse me.
The thing about the one place where I would say the tablet is good is if you have to share a TV. So in houses with families, or if you have roommates.
But the screen,
which is a lot of people.
The screen is so low tech on it. It doesn't even match the tech.
No, it's
if
a
you're,
low res
if you're playing
screen.
on they brag about the high res, and then your tablet is in a different resolution.
Yeah, no, the tablet.
In a
is
day
not
and age
great.
when your smartphone looks better than your
than the Wii U tablet.
Wii U
Absolutely, it does.
That's the
but you can play Mario while someone else is watching TV.
I'm just saying,
and you can do that on the 3DS as well.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of little things. And then there's the online infrastructure. People are very heavily connected to online in everything that they do nowadays, and they completely overlooked that. I think that they overestimated themselves when it comes to the technology. Nintendo's become very comfortable over the last few decades of pretty much just pushing out anything hardware-wise, slapping the Nintendo brand on it, and having it sell like hotcakes, with the exception of the GameCube. And I think they've gotten very comfortable, and they were just kind of like, people will eat this shit up, and release the Wii U, and people are getting a little bit smarter than that. I don't know. And it's not any one of these things. And then there's the lack of software. Lack of competitive software. I just think you take a little pinch of this and a little pinch of that and a little pinch of that. Everybody's trying to pick the one thing that's the reason the Wii U is not selling well. And I think it's a little culmination of everything.
You're right.
It's being very poorly marketed at the time. It's got an atrocious name, which Nintendo just realized that this 8 months after the system launched, or whatever it's been, it was terrible to call it the Wii U, which sounds so similar to the Wii, and be pushing all this stuff. Oh, all your Wii stuff carries over. What's the point in buying the Wii U then if you're just going to be playing your Wii stuff on a new console? It's all these little things that just add up. It's no one thing in particular.
I think Nintendo has an opportunity, though, because the Wii U is a simpler platform. It could make it easier for independent developers to make games for less money, because they won't have to compete with AAA titles so much. And if they could get the online store working properly, right now it's not that great. If they could get the software in the online store good, and they can get a good deal with indie developers, they could do pretty well. And that could be their saving grace. But they're not going to compete with PlayStation or Xbox otherwise.
And I think that's a great segue point into Ryan's second part of his question, if I can. He said, with players like Ouya and the NVIDIA Shield, how is the console business changing?
NVIDIA Shield is too expensive. It's too expensive. It's a cool concept, but it's too expensive.
But I want to build off of what you were just talking about. Is with these systems, you have more opportunity as an independent.
Yes.
Where you don't have to necessarily compete with the AAA titles.
Right.
Sure, you'll get a couple of them, and I know the Shield can mimic whatever.
Well, the Shield is Android.
Yeah.
So,
but it can mimic what you're playing. Like,
well, you can stream from a
Borderlands
video card or
shit
something.
like that.
Yeah, it can stream. So there's that too.
But I completely 100% agree with you, and it goes back. I believe we were talking a while ago, kind of like around the Game of the Year talk, when we were talking about like the rise of the indie games. These are perfect platforms for these smaller studios and independent developers to really come out and shine.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the Summer of Arcade once in a while, or you get a cool thing thrown in with PlayStation Network. But this is really, for me, that's really where they can stand out.
Yeah, I mean, and even if when you look at something like the summer of arcade on the Xbox, there's a whole big thing with Fez, where they couldn't put out a patch for Fez because it was just too expensive to patch the game. And I know that I'm sure Microsoft is like, well, we won't do that next time. Fine, that's all well and good, but it's one place where they can still where Nintendo can compete. It's not going to be on graphics. It's not going to be on getting the biggest titles because those are going to be the AAAs. It's on the independent stuff. So,
to me, with the way that the console world is going, I think it's kind of interesting. This is just a personal opinion of mine. I don't want to disregard the Ouya or the NVIDIA because I think that they're going to be fine and well on their own. Those are very niche products. Those by themselves. What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
You're
not supposed to pay attention.
The NVIDIA, it's kind of hard when you're flailing your arms and
Trying to
touching
get
your
his
nose.
attention to let him know that he was snoring.
Oh.
And it picked
okay.
up on the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Ouya and NVIDIA, I think they're completely different, and they shouldn't be brought in the same category. Those are going to be very niche products with very, very small market reach, and they're going to be primarily based off bringing a mobile phone experience to your television. Different, okay? And I also, I've touched on this slightly before in the past. I don't think Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, as much as they are in direct competition with one another, they're not really competing anymore. It's a different world out there now. It kind of goes into the whole fanboyism thing. If you take a Nintendo fan, they don't care what Sony and Microsoft are putting out, and they don't care what Nintendo is putting out. Whatever says Nintendo on it, they will purchase. They've grown up with these consoles. They've grown to love them. That's what it is. They don't give a shit about graphics. They don't give a shit about hardware. They don't give a shit about the newest, shiniest thing. They want their Nintendo product. I think Sony and Microsoft are very diverse nowadays, too. When this generation started, they were very similar. It was all a race to get the online infrastructure and build a strong base of users. But as the generation has progressed, Microsoft has tended to take more of not casuals, but more, I don't even have a word for it, where they occasionally play games.
More of a multimedia stance.
Yes, but they're exactly. But they're very, very, their consumer base is very, very concerned with.
Well, there's a word that's starting to be thrown around that's not necessarily a positive word, but the bro gamer market.
Yeah, and
that's what Microsoft has locked down.
And they tend to get the people that want this kind of shit, like DVR functionality and stuff. And I feel where Sony has kind of taken its fan base is purely games. They don't offer as much of this other ESPN exclusivity and deals with Xfinity and HBO Go. But what they do have is more and better exclusives. More is 100%, that's a fact. But in my opinion, better exclusives than everybody else. And there's a lot of them, and they come out constantly. I think Sony focuses more on the gamers. Nintendo, each thing has, because it's kind of hard to just, you guys know this. You play video games, obviously. It's hard to summarize everybody into the category of gamers. It's like what I was explaining before. One guy likes popcorn, one likes peanuts, it's the same thing. We're all under the gamer umbrella, but when you really break it down, not too many gamers are alike. There's the bro gamers, there's the classics, the guys who won't touch anything that's not on an arcade.
Here's a prime example: is you and I play a lot of similar games,
and we play a lot of very different games.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean we can't all get along and stuff, but
Sometimes.
I think that all these companies know nowadays what their market is, and that's what they're kind of placating to keep their fan base happy. And it's not really. That's why I don't think Nintendo. I think Nintendo knew that when they were building the Wii U. They weren't. It's great if they can get a couple 360 and PS3 gamers to come over, but they're catering to their audience, which is same thing with the new Xbox. I think it's going to be very multimedia and Kinect centered, and that's going to draw in their fan base. And Sony's just going to come out with really strong hardware and a lot of fucking games.
But bringing it back,
and they'll get their own people to the new generation. That's just, I don't know.
Bringing it back full circle to the second part here is where do you think systems like the Ouya and the NVIDIA Shield and all these new consoles, where do you think they stand in the market?
I actually started on that.
Yeah, but I mean, are they just niches?
They're niche. They're niche markets. They're just bringing. I don't think they're going to stick. It's in my opinion, it's very similar to what happened with the Wii. The Wii was a phenomenon in that it brought on a lot of non-gamers into the gaming community.
But then it dropped out.
And it dropped out. It's very similar to all those Facebook games like Farmville and all that crap that brought a lot of people that didn't play games into the gaming community. Cell phones have done that on a different level. They brought a lot of... my sister, for the first time in her life, since we were little kids playing on the NES, and she always sucked and wasn't very good and didn't stick with it for longer than a few months. But since the first time, since then, and she's a few years older than me, so you're talking, I don't know, maybe 25 years or so.
You better watch what you say if she listens.
For the first, she
Just
listens to
saying. You better, she's gonna slap you. You say too much.
For the first time in 25 years, she is playing a video game again in the form of Candy Crush.
I hate that fucking game.
But okay, I'm just saying for the non-game, and I think that what exactly happened with the Wii when the Wii transitioned into the Wii U, where people got their fill, they bought that thing for Wii bowling and stuff like that. It eventually wore thin because they weren't true gamers at heart. And I think the same with this stuff with the Ouya and the Nvidia and stuff. They're trying to capitalize on this market by bringing it to the home category. But I think when people get tired of Candy Crush and the next big thing, and they're done with Farmville, and they stop playing games, all that's going to be left is us, the core, the people that sponsor Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony, or all three, or a couple of the three, whatever you want to do.
I agree with everything you say. My perspective is slightly different. I think with Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft becoming such mega powers that they are, that you have this indie market, if you will, able to break in, and I think like what we were talking about, it offers more variety to people who may not be able to get their stuff on a platform like a Xbox or a PlayStation. It's just not financially feasible.
Right.
You know, with Android in particular, with being such an open source and being so user friendly that it is, I think it's allowing a lot of people, just like podcasting, to pursue things that they're interested in without having to invest so much money. I think as an overall, I don't know where I stand with it just yet. It could collapse, like you said. That's a very good point. But I look at it from an indie film perspective, because that's the only thing I've really got to compare it to. That when you can't go to one of these big studios and have them promote your shit, you now have the opportunity to do it yourself.
The problem is it opened the floodgates, and this is already starting to happen. We report on it all the time when a major studio closes. For every one major studio that makes console games, there's literally 10,000 small studios that close that's trying to do exactly what Jason's saying. Unfortunately, there's an oversaturation at this point. Go on the iOS market, just look at it, and you'll see a billion games. You have no idea where to start from. All these people get lost in the shuffle. There's just too much of it, and it's coming out too quickly, and people can't consume it all.
And I
think it's going to blow back.
I
think it's going to blow
you.
back.
But I think once that happens, you will have a fraction of what you had of truly indie games stand out.
Yeah, but those guys might pull in the financial ability to then push it to the next level and leave iOS completely.
Maybe not.
I just
maybe they choose to stay where they're at.
I think one thing that needs to be done on iOS or on their competitors is finding a better way to sort through all the crap. I mean, because you can say, yeah, there's too many games. Go to a bookstore. There's like, if you went to any Borders,
there's like a lot of books.
There are a lot of
there's
books.
books everywhere in a bookstore.
Every Borders that was open, back when Borders was in business and big, had 100,000 different books. I worked there for like a year, and that was like their big thing. They're like, we always have 100,000 different books, at least. Not 100,000 total, 100,000 different. So if there are multiple copies, there's
Doesn't
more.
count,
Yeah.
If you had 2 copies of every book, you have 200,000 books.
Right. But people could still find their way through it.
Sure.
I think they need to find a better way to categorize some of these games. They need to be able to sort through them better. Because right now, you go to the iOS store, there's like a few categories of games.
It's the same 10 games under the most popular.
And you can't tell what it is until you buy it. And so you don't want to buy anything, or it's got to be free, and you have to get in the free-to-play market.
The light version, which is
and
extended
Ouya,
demo.
Ouya is kind of doing that, in that every game has to have a demo or be free-to-play, one or the other. Xbox does that because all the Xbox Live games have a demo. But it's still kind of hard to find your way through those stores. They're not organized very well. So I think that's part of the problem, is that no one's found a good way to organize that market.
And to filter out the
and to
crap.
filter it out. Like, look at Amazon. If Amazon was just a list of everything in one category with no way to search, you'd never buy anything.
If we're talking about stores, if it was possible, the Sony store is now more of a mess.
Oh yeah, it's
than it
so
was before.
slow, and it's
If it was possible, they fucked their store up more.
Yeah.
I didn't know you can go backwards,
yeah,
but Sony found a way.
I have had more freezes and issues with the PlayStation Store than any game I played.
I don't get
except for-
freezes.
I get freezes.
It's just hard to find stuff. It's like asinine how it works. It's like, are you kidding? With that stupid scroll bar on the left with all the lettering system, it's moronic.
Watch his face light up, and I know we're doing audio, but watch. I almost turned on my PlayStation 3.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Almost. I didn't feel like finding an HDMI cord because it's not even plugged into the fucking TV.
Yeah,
So
no, the
sad.
PlayStation Store.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, maybe I'll turn it on.
See what's going on
And
PlayStation.
I have
for a little bit.
I have a very fast internet connection, and the PlayStation Store
not the
loads-
internet. It's
PlayStation. It's
Sony's
Sony.
end.
It's so slow to load
The
things.
store was so much better.
Yeah.
The only thing that brought it up in my head is how difficult it is to find stuff.
I think
on
it
the
looks
store.
nicer, like visually, it
Yeah.
looks cooler, but you can't do anything with it. So there's no point to it. Yeah.
And if I can, to keep this train rolling, okay, and kind of segue where we're talking about the Ouya and the NVIDIA Shield. Brendan Joyce.
What's up, B?
I'm waiting for that. He asked, what do we think of the Oculus Rift? Now, we kind of went over a couple of our questions. I know you're not too familiar with it.
I am not.
Brian,
I am familiar
You want to go ahead?
vaguely with
I'm
it.
going to grab something
So,
to drink.
yeah,
you go
sure.
ahead.
So the Oculus Rift is a 3D headset, visual, so it's got two screens and each eye gets a different picture, and it's designed around being a complete VR quote-unquote experience. All that stuff that they talked about in the 90s and were doing like in TV shows, and like, oh, I can't even tell what's real, what isn't. Is this... That's kind of what the Oculus Rift is. It's got head tracking, so as you move your head, the game tracks your head's movement and so rather than having to use a second stick to shoot, you could just turn your head around and pull the trigger when your target's in the center of the screen. It's built around, and again, so it's dual screen, so you get a full 3D visual effect as if you were playing in 3D. So it's still 3D with glasses, but in a different way. It's fairly inexpensive. It's not super high res, but it looks good from what I've heard. But games need to be designed around it because it is a smaller screen and a lower res screen. You can't just people have made mods for like Skyrim and other games to make it work with it, but the interfaces and stuff need to be redone to work with such a small, low res screen. So it's an interesting concept, basically taking what everybody thought was going to happen in the 90s and actually bringing it and making it work.
I've heard one of the biggest disorienting things about it is you turn to kind of move your view for the most part.
Right.
But to move forward, you don't actually step forward.
But someone is working on a treadmill
Is
that
that-
does that. It's a 360-degree treadmill. I've seen pictures. I haven't really looked too much into it. But there are people who are working on that. So that you guys, because like if you were to go to, I don't know if you ever went to North Pier back in the day.
Yeah.
They had the VR center there where you actually get on like a little treadmill and walk. So when you walk, the game would walk and the helmet would move with you.
Yeah.
But those things were massively expensive and hard to upkeep. So the Oculus Rift is trying to make that, affordable on a small scale. So it's doable. But the problem there is that you got to get that treadmill in your house, and good luck. That's going to be expensive.
Yeah, and this thing weighs like fucking 10 pounds.
Right. Yeah. But that's still a lot lighter than like the Virtual Boy. I had a Virtual Boy. You couldn't
Did you
strap it
strap?
to your
I was
head.
going to say,
You
did
could
you
not.
ever strap it to your head?
You could not.
Because I've never seen one off that little fucking tripod.
No, it's really heavy. You can't. And I remember at one point I was like, well, maybe I'll lay down and just put it on my head. It wouldn't stay on your head.
And that's why Brian wears glasses today.
No, sir. I've worn glasses since I was like 4.
Can we just blame Nintendo? I mean, we're on a roll. You look completely unimpressed, sir.
I don't care.
The problem is, it's not gonna.
Dude,
it's not gonna make.
I've been
that.
hearing this since forever with the Silent Scope and Virtual Boy and that stupid fucking running pad and then fucking the iMove and then the Wii and then the fucking Kinect and the Move in general. It's just like this shit doesn't work. It sounds great on paper. I don't care. I just want to sit on a couch and play games. And I'm not.
You don't even do that. You lay down.
I'm not anti-technology. I love when all this new stuff comes out. The problem is this stuff doesn't work, and it doesn't improve the experience. It impairs it. All of this stuff makes the gaming experience worse because you get frustrated at how poorly all this stuff actually functions. They're stupid cash grabs, and I hate them all. When you have the technology ready and it works, and it's affordable, release it. I don't see that happening in the next 20 years.
I personally, I think it's cool, and I don't think that the Oculus Rift itself is a cash grab. I think it's a bunch of nerds who want to make it happen, but I don't think it's going to. I know that I don't know if this is jumping into it, but Valve is working on something as well.
Go ahead.
There have been reports that some of the people who were fired from Valve are actually working on a special Oculus Rift style headset as well. I don't think that the future. I shouldn't say I don't necessarily think the future, because I know that Google has it as well, but I don't think the future is in headsets. I think the future
is in watches. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's in that either. I think that in terms of interactive
Game and
gaming
Watch
stuff,
coming back.
In terms of interactive gaming, like on a bigger scale, like the cooler stuff is going to be more about bigger screens and better controllers. Maybe some motion stuff, as we get into it. But I think that everybody would rather have a holodeck than a VR headset.
Yep.
And a holodeck, even though it would probably be more expensive than a VR headset, would be a hell of a lot cooler than having to strap on a VR headset and not know where you're going as you walk around the room and bump into
I don't
stuff.
want either. I just want Jurassic Park. The actual park. Fuck all that virtual reality.
I don't want to get eaten.
I mean, if you're gonna go, better way to go than
Yeah,
buy a
I guess.
dinosaur.
But Death by Velociraptor just seems so
yeah. No, I'll take the T-Rex.
uncomfortable.
I'll take the T-Rex.
I'm all about the comfort.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Lysios, who got our 8-bit song of the week, which was Turtles in Time.
Nice.
He asked, do any of us like chiptune music? And if so, and if so, are there any particular songs we enjoy? Chiptune music is essentially, and this is kind of funny that Tony said that, because chiptune music is literally what our intro has been for the past year, being I Fight Dragons, where you have different types of 8-bit riffs and whatnot playing modern music.
Some of it's cool.
Yeah.
I like I Fight Dragons.
There is a huge chiptune movement here in Chicago. They meet up once a month at a bar called the Beat Kitchen, and they actually have like chiptune freestyle and everything like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of it sounds like dubstep garbage to me, but if done properly with a band like I Fight Dragons, and you can pick out just about any one of their songs, I enjoy it. If it's integrated into a more modern style of music, it's really cool. I like it. It's nice. It's retro. But I've heard, as good of music as I've heard some really bad ones too.
I'm pretty much in agreement. I do enjoy chiptune music. I've listened to some good stuff. Back in the day, there was like Boy vs. Bacteria, and Leany had some stuff. Anamanaguchi obviously is the big name in that. They did the soundtrack to the Scott Pilgrim game, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it, but I think that when it's not done well, it can be really awful. And I do enjoy, like, I'll go back and listen to NES music.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually used apps to rip songs from NES games and just throw them on my iPod.
When we were making our list of 8-bit songs, like I just kept YouTubing, like a song would pop into my head. I'd listen to the whole
There's some great
thing.
stuff in there. But if you do it poorly, it sounds really
just
bad.
to throw it out there, I mean, go on YouTube, check out I Fight Dragons. They're kind of popish, but listen or watch their videos, and they're actually pretty badass. You want to hear chiptune done right? Check them out. He had a second question, and this was directed right at you, Tony, right at your face.
What's
you
up?
Ready for this? He said, and this is going back on when we were talking last week about top gaming moments. You brought up that was it Ratchet? He was a Lombax, the only Lombax.
Well, he wasn't the only. He's the one of the last two left. Yeah.
He said, weren't Sasha and Angela Lombaxes? Or Lombaxi? I don't know. How the fuck pluralize that?
Lombaxes.
Yeah, sure. Let's roll with that.
There's no official statement from Insomniac. The one time they were asked in public, they refused to answer. This has been highly contested in the Insomniac fan world. But in my opinion, I sit on the side that they're not Lombaxes. Angela doesn't have a tail, and she also has what looks like facial hair, which is weird. She can't be a Lombax. And if you ask me, Sasha is AI.
Okay.
I don't think so. Plus, Insomniac came out in a crack in time and said it's not confirmed that he's the absolute last Lombax, but he's the last known one until he ran into the dude from A Crack in Time.
No, I don't play kid games.
They're not kid games.
That's been the joke for today.
So in my opinion, no, they're not Lombaxes, but Insomniac never came out. I could see how you would think those two. That's fine. It's not a problem with me.
No.
It's all good in the hood.
Okay. Andrew Dillon.
What's up, Andrew?
Hey, my new buddy on the Wii U.
Yeah. He said,
My
You guys
one
play
buddy-
anything yet?
No, I just turned it on because I remembered that you'd asked him to friend me. It's like, I should probably turn it on and check and see. And I downloaded Super Metroid and played that, and that was it.
did you pay 30 cents for it?
I did.
Nice. He asked, what would you like to see from Resident Evil 7 when it comes out?
More Resident Evil 6. Great story play. Not too much Chris Redfield. Good lengthy campaign. I wish they would fix their menu system and their aim, but that's always been a problem in the Resident Evil series. And getting into co-op, a little bit smarter of a redesign. Aside from that, just more Resident Evil 6 and we're good to go. Less Resident Evil 5, please.
Right?
What was the name of the president's daughter in Resident Evil 4?
Ashley.
Ashley. Yeah. What's up with Ashley? I don't know. I honestly, I played the demo for Resident Evil 5 and couldn't get into it. I liked Resident Evil 4. I guess if I were to get back into Resident Evil, I would want them to jump more on the survival than the action. I think that action is cool, like in bits. Like, you explore for a bit, you find your way around, and you have the occasional moment of heavy action. But I think Resident Evil is more about not necessarily solving puzzles, because most of Resident Evil is kind of just find the key. There's some puzzle solving, but it's more about the environment and the tension than about the action. So I think it'd be interesting if they step back to that, but I don't know that they will.
Fix your fucking load times.
I can't agree more. What I'd like to see out of Resident Evil 7 is it doesn't exist. Kill the series for at least the next 4 or 5 years. Do a complete relaunch. Get back to your basics, back to your roots. Fuck multiplayer. You don't need it.
Yeah, no,
in
absolutely
a survival
not.
horror
Yeah.
game. Okay, fuck your AI companion. It's about a single character, and it's about the suspense, and it's about being in the moment.
It doesn't
And
have to be a single character, but they don't necessarily work together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even playing 4, 5, and what little bit of 6, just having that AI character there takes you out of the moment a little bit,
Yeah.
because you got somebody there to watch your back. And in a true survival horror
does Ashley
situation,
really watch your back? I mean,
But-
she
regardless,
she compromises your back more than
you
watches
know,
it.
Get rid of it's perfect point again where certain games do not need multiplayer, and Resident
Absolutely.
Evil is one of those.
No, it does not work for
Okay.
Resident Evil. I
No.
can't see how it would.
They have multiplayer in Resident Evil?
No.
Well, they did do the online ones like Dead Aim.
They did,
Not Dead Aim.
They did those. The
Outbreak. Yeah.
They did the co-op in
Yeah, but
5
co-op's
and
not multiplayer.
It's they don't need
No,
that
they do
in a
not.
survival horror game, and you don't need fucking mercenaries and all this other bullshit. All your fucking ridiculous.
Because Left 4 Dead does it better anyway.
You know what Resident Evil has become? A half-assed Parasite Eve. Mm-hmm. Okay, get back to the basics. 1 or 2 monsters, a zombie here and there. You don't need all these fucking mutating, tentacle porn bullshit, Japanese anime crap. Get real fucking hair and stop with the cutscenes every fucking 30 seconds. I agree with you completely. You have your Indiana Jones moments once in a while in the game, where you have your intense scenes where
Right.
it's action, 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 but you keep it very soul survivor, one person experience. Fuck everything else. Anything else?
No,
Moving
I'm
on.
cool.
Cool. Tom, my buddy,
What's up, Tom?
listened to the Blacklist Hockey Cast. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
Actually spun it into a question. He goes, any news about NHL 14? Anything that you'd want to see in the game? Improvements or anything?
NHL 14. The improvements I would like is I know that they've started taking the Madden approach where you can start kind of creating your own dynasty by basically cherry picking from the entire league, and also in a different option setting from the history of the league. And I just think it's a little cheap when you're starting a franchise mode. If you want to truly go through the draft process the way that the game enables it to, and not totally trade bait everybody into everything, and build your guys up to an overvalued ability by like just taking I don't know, let's take the Pittsburgh Penguins for example, and you take a guy like Pasquale Dupuis, and if you play with them as a franchise mode, he's a decent player in real life. He's actually a really good player. But I mean, if you just used him over and over and over again for 2 or 3 seasons, and took every shot with him and built up his goals to some Wayne Gretzky-esque record-breaking stuff,
I know that name.
You would overvalue him in the game and basically essentially turn him into trade bait. You would dump his salary, and with the room that you provide yourself, you'd be able to go get. I don't know. I'm getting way too off track here. I think there's too many ways within all of the sporting franchise games where you can be a little too conniving in the franchise modes.
Mm-hmm. I would. I mean, I played the basketball games. I would agree.
So you kind of know what I'm talking about?
I could totally cheat and put half the fucking 94 Bulls on my current roster.
And you could just shoot with one guy over and over and over and over and over.
It could be
Jordan
could be the only person on the fucking court in the game. But yeah,
within the actual game, I'd like an individual goalie cam, I guess.
First person goalie.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Kind of like what they did with the boxing games.
With
done right.
With online, you can quite literally play one guy per position on a game. It's really cool. Where that's your only job. And if you're playing goalie, I guess to fix it, to make it more entertaining, because it kind of gets lame when you're stuck with goalie when you do play a full 6-on-6 game. Aside from that, I think they're doing a great job. I think it's the most entertaining sports game available right now. It's the least redundant. I feel that they do the best job upgrading it every year. Even the last couple of years have been a little boring. But I know in 2010 we saw a major revamp. It's probably the best NHL game they came out with a while. And now they're just slowly improving on it. Coming down to a short goal, they're running out of ideas.
If I can, I think they need to get back to hit the ice. You need to have more bloody fights and octopuses pulling down pants.
Yeah.
You know, on that same vein, I think all hockey games should have a Gradius demo during halftime.
I also think
that would be Blades of Steel, the last hockey game I played.
This is something just me as being a big hockey fan. I'd like to see them steal this from Madden as well. I don't know, this might be just personal, but I feel that although the stadiums are kind of attempted to be replicated, they're all a little bit too similar. Where if you play a Madden game, Soldier Field does feel different than playing at, Ford Stadium or playing at fucking Three Rivers or, whatever, Heinz Field or whatever the hell it's called now. You get a different feeling from every stadium, and every hockey stadium, and every hockey fan knows they're very, very different. The environments, the noise level. It's not to make fun of any franchises, but some of the quieter crowds out there, like those in Nashville or Columbus or what have you, shouldn't have the same amount of crowd noise coming in that somewhere like the United Center or even not. I'm probably going to screw up the name, Nassau, whatever, in Long Island, the one that they're going to tear down where the Islanders play or where the Bruins play. Those are some of the loudest stadiums.
Jesus,
where the Canadians
I know the
play.
name of that, and I can't think of it.
What?
The stadium that you're talking
it's
about.
like Nassau
yeah.
Coliseum or something. I can't pronounce it. Whatever. They're going to knock it down. It's over.
Because they just built a new one.
I don't know if they built it yet, but
yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
WWE was
or where the Hobbs play or whatever.
And, I mean, that's actually something they do.
Those are louder stadiums.
In the basketball games, is each arena has a very specific feel, not just the lighting and the logo on the court, but even the crowd interactions.
I mean, they sort of try, but that's something they can work on. I feel it's just nitpicking. The NHL franchise is really good.
I really like your idea of a first person goalie.
They've kind of,
but if it's done,
it's not what I have in my head. to clarify. So yeah,
Third person goalie?
no, it's weird. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's
All
what I would
right.
like to see. But thanks for listening to the Blacklist cast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got. Actually, Tom's going to be on one coming up soon.
Fucking A.
All right. As always, you can visit us at forwardcompatible.org, our brand new relaunched website. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/forwardcompatiblepodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at fcompatible. You can like, comment, and share us on YouTube, youtube.com/forwardcompatible. You can like, comment, and share us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you, Brian. And as always, you can send us emails at forwardcompatiblepodcast at gmail.com.
That it?
Yeah.
Rock on. This has been. That's awesome for closing.
dying.
This has been episode 67, part 1. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week, same time, same place.
Fuck you, Kanye West.